Sparkle throughout the night with Born in Roma fragrances by Valentino Beauty. Each bottle holds the energy of Rome after dark. Donna Born in Roma blends luxurious jasmine with rich, creamy vanilla, creating a sensual and vibrant signature scent. Uomo Born in Roma fuses aromatic sage and smoked vetiver, leaving a lasting impression that lingers well into the early hours. Shop Born in Roma by Valentino Beauty now at Ulta.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Marty Supreme singing a song sung blue, and Avatar's gonna need a housemate to clear up the fire and ash. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Off Screen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Christmas boom. Groovy.
Welcome to another edition of Off Screen. So this will be our last Off Screen of 2025.
This will be the final 2025 Off-Screen. You believe as well this is the end of the 10th year of Off-Screen, because this started in 2015.
Wow.
So this, I think Jurassic World was week one of this, the first Jurassic World. We are 4 Jurassic World movies deep now. And we started
incredible.
our first week with Jurassic World in 2015. So yeah, what a year it's been. Eh?
Yeah. And I've been doing this with you now for what must be 4 years, maybe
3?
5?
I think it's 3. Isn't
3
it total?
years.
I'm sure it was 2023.
I mean, that's mad. It's gone
It is,
quickly.
isn't it? Well, yeah, but you know what?
Okay.
We've got some fun to be had, as always, though. We've got movies to smack talk, movies to praise. I can't think which ones I'm praising really that much this week. But there's some good things to say about some of them. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, we're going to look at The Housemaid, Avatar, Fire and Ash. We've got Song Sung Blue and Marty Supreme, all to look at because, of course, fans already seen them. But we're going to start, as we always do every week, with the UK and Ireland box office top 10. So let's see how many of these Van hasn't seen. Right, well, I'd hope you...
Number 10, I mean.
Well, I'd hope you've seen number 10. I'm not sure what that's doing now. Is that just because they shoved it in cinemas for Christmas?
So Home Alone, back in cinemas. The funniest thing is, so it's been distributed by Park Circus. Park Circus generally do sort of repertory releases, like re-releases of sorts. So Home Alone's back in, obviously because it's Christmas. Hilarious thing is, on the box office top 10, it has listed as its weeks on release, 368 weeks. I mean, Home Alone's been out for a lot longer than 368 weeks, because I was about 8 years old when Home Alone came out. 7 years old, I think, when Home Alone came out. I think that must be 368 weeks since the first time Park Circus re-released it, because that would be like 6-7 years, 368 weeks. And to be fair to it, in its this first weekend back, it's made 181 grand, which... fair play. I'd go and see Home Alone in the cinema. I don't think I've actually properly watched it in a couple of years now, because you see it every Christmas for years and years and years, and then you need a break for a while. It's kind of like Elf or the Muppets. Like, I mean, I can watch Elf every year, to be fair, and the Muppets, but I think Home Alone it kind of tires a little bit, and also it gets shown a lot when it's not Christmas, which is weird. And
we didn't see it last year, so no? It's going to be played this year. I'm going to watch it with my son probably this weekend or next weekend.
Has your son seen Home Alone before? Because he's 6, 7 now.
I put it on when he was about 4 or 5, and he didn't really take it in. So I think he'll love it.
Oh, now, yeah, because now he'll basically be closer to the age of the character from the movie.
Exactly that.
You want to be careful. Start checking your staircases bottom of your staircase before you go to bed at night, just in case in case he learns the wrong lesson. Like, make sure you can account for all the cans of paint. I know you've just moved house, so account for all the cans of paint in your garage before you go anywhere.
It will be the upturned nail on the stairs with my son. Trust me.
It really would be. But Home Alone, welcome back, Home Alone. We missed you, I suppose. Number 9 is Eternity, now on its second week of release. Has made really only about 50 grand more than Home Alone did this past weekend. And I really like Eternity. I'm hoping there's an award screener over Christmas comes through, because I would like to rewatch it. My partner's never seen it. It'd be interesting to get her take on that. And I like it as a good old school, matter of life and death meets defending your life kind of rom. One of the best roles I've ever seen Miles Teller in. This side of Whiplash, because I'm not a big Miles Teller fan. And also, I just think it's a really funny, charming movie. I've not met anyone who intensely dislikes it in any way, so I think it's a win all round, and I think it works for both older audiences because of like the characters are meant to be quite older, but also they're the younger actors, and it has universal appeal, I think, across the board in that way. So it's kind of clever in the way it plays that.
Just a correction. I don't know if you meant to say it, but it's made £50 more rather than 50 grand more. It's really close.
Yes, I was saying £50. Oh wow, that's like one family.
Yeah,
£50. £50 is basically one family. There was one family's difference between how much Home Alone and Eternity made.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought I'd point it out because it's so closer than you thought.
Yeah, sorry, I'm so used to dealing with bigger figures on the box office top 10. That didn't even classify for me. Silent Night, Deadly Night is at number 8. On its first week of release, that made 183 grand. I didn't expect this one to like rocket to the top of the top 10, although just for the purposes of smugness and how much I love and I Told You So, after Christmas, I do have to pay attention to one particular film in the box office top 10 because I am going to prove a point about Timothée Chalamet to a colleague of mine. We will get to that after Christmas, though, and more importantly, after we review that movie in about 10 minutes' time. So at number 7, we have number 8, we have Silent Night, Deadly Night. A very fun, kind of cheap and cheerful little slasher. I enjoyed this. It was a very fun, 90-minute cinema, popcorn in the air slasher. Good fun. If you know the original, you kind of know what you're in for, and it really delivers on that. And if you don't, just enjoy the way horror movies used to be.
Yeah.
When they were all like filmed in Vancouver and had like TV casts and second unit directors getting their first shot at the gold.
Glossy.
I don't think glossy really comes. It's more rainy and gritty. You know what I mean? It's one of those, because everything shot in Vancouver always comes with a lot of rain. Like it's one of the signature things of like the X-Files, Smallville, Supernatural, stuff like that. But you can very much feel it in this movie. I'm sure if you check, it's not actually Vancouver. It's probably some it's probably Portland or something like that. But the point still stands. Number 7, and I know this hit digital this past week in some countries. Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which is still pulling in nearly £250,000 on its 5th week of release.
Yeah,
I really liked it. Fun little sort of Lego sequel kind of setup. I know obviously it's made enough money because in total so far it's like £6.5 million at the UK box office for its total run for those 5 weeks, and that's pretty good for a number 3 to a franchise that I don't think anyone ever refers to as their favourite. And yet it's a true 21st century franchise of which we have surprisingly few. You look at actual franchises that were born in this century and carried on, and like arguably Avatar is the biggest. Because 15 years ago it didn't exist. It's a completely original franchise, and now it's a 3-film of 5. We'll get to that. 3-film of 5 series, like original IPs this century, not that common. And Now You See Me is, it's one of the few, but it's also, I'd argue, one of the better ones as well.
Number 6. I know that you haven't seen this, although I think you said you were going to try the Nutcracker. Royal Opera House, London, 2025. It's been out for 2 weeks. It's pulling in the money though. It's nearly made 800 grand.
Yeah, these things do. They actually do these Royal Opera shows. It's like we were talking last week. Was it Andre Rieu? Same kind of thing. These kind of event cinema screenings, and they do make money. And it's worth noting they would make a lot less if cinemas didn't have a sort of clause. The Limitless card, or you get an Odeon, or you get the Infinity card, or the Light, or there's the Cineworld Unlimited card. Event cinemas are not included in those unlimited card schemes.
Oh.
And if they were, I genuinely want to know how much money they'd rake in. I really do, because I think I've only ever once paid to see an event cinema thing, and it was the Danny Boyle Frankenstein stage show about 10 or 15 years ago with Benedict Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller, because it's not included in the limited scheme. So I'm genuinely fascinated to know what the financials are if it's factored into your average cinema unlimited. I've not seen it. I've never seen any version of the Nutcracker that didn't star Keira Knightley. if I'm being honest. I've seen that movie that we all forgot exists, The Nutcracker and the Nine Realms or something, that Disney put out in about 2016. Yeah, do you remember this? Do you remember about 10 years ago Disney made a live action? Yeah, with Keira Knightley in that. Yeah, no one remembers anything beyond the fact that it exists.
Yeah, well, I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it.
No one saw it. No one did. I went to the bloody premiere and no one showed up.
Wow.
But so make of that what you will. Number 5, and we've got
the
real. Yeah, thank you. Fackham Hall. So this is a hall, a physical location in a place called Fackham, Fackham. Now, this is Fackham Hall, which is about all I can really say on this one because it wasn't press shown. Do you know what this is? I think I told you last week what
I'm
this
guessing
was.
It's a spoof of some sort.
It is a spoof, a parody of Downton Abbey.
Brilliant.
With like Damian Lewis and people like that. Now, it must be bad because they didn't press show. And as far as I know, anyone who inquired got a very swift no, sorry, we were unable to accommodate you. That's the term they use, by the way, is we were unable to accommodate you on this occasion. It's the polite way of saying nope.
Are you sure you spelled the film title right in the request?
No, I didn't just send, the usual email, which is, name in the to line and in the subject line, BBC Inquiry, : and then the other thing. No, I didn't write that. You've seen my BBC emails, you know exactly how they go. My very favorite, that's not even my favorite turn down of the year, because I think I might have mentioned this to you last week in passing. Anaconda from Sony, when we asked, can we see Anaconda? And they genuinely, this is, if I mentioned this last week, and I want to follow this up, because I told you it was an absolute lie. And I now know conclusively it's an absolute lie. I asked to see Anaconda for the purposes of this week's show. And Sony said to me, sorry, Van, we're expecting a late print on this one, so there isn't time to screen it for anyone. 2 days ago, they had the premiere of that movie in the States.
Wow.
Now, what was everyone watching for the remainder of that evening? I get that everyone showed up for the red carpet, but when they went inside and the lights went down, what did they watch for the presumably 85 minutes? I really want to know. Was it late for the premiere? Anyway, my point is, total lie. And every time they use one of these lines, we all know. We all know that Fackham Hall is not any good and you just don't want to show it us. You know what I mean? But,
well, that's at number 5. At number 4, Durandahar.
Durandahar, which I think I said this to you last week. I wasn't pressure and haven't seen. I have seen number 3, though, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is now over £1 million, 2 weeks into release.
Yeah.
And this is one of those exceptions to the rule that I have to bring up every now and again when I go on the rant about how Gen Z don't see movies. And Five Nights at Freddy's was one of the only exceptions to that, followed closely by number 2 and number 1 on this top 10. It's worth noting that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is not very good, because the first one wasn't very good, and this is really more of the same, which is not far off. In fact, no, I can't say that about either 2 or 1. Number 2, right, now having banked just under £2 million in the past weekend, in total banking 40.8 million quid in the few weeks since it's been out. Wicked for Good, which is a garbage sequel to a garbage original with a garbage cast who might genuinely be the single worst Oscar nominees of this century. I'm not even kidding. I'm sorry. Find me someone, genuinely, just find me an accredited critic or professional who can genuinely make the argument that Ariana Grande gave a Best Actress worthy performance in the first Wicked movie, let alone the second movie, and I'll find you someone who's full of crap. Because Wicked for Good is I mean, I know what word I would transplant good out for. And it rhymes with chit, we shall say, which is probably the wrong one. It rhymes with CHIT, chit. It ain't Wicked for Good. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I'm just shocked at the 40.7 million quid. I mean, it's got a massive fan base.
Because, and I don't know how to dumb this one down further without sounding really patronising, Families with young children will get pestered into going and seeing. There's a lot of birthday parties, things like that. This time of year, kids are starting to finish school and parents need something to do with them for 3 hours. And also, not to be indelicate about it, but the audience with the rainbow lapel pins who go in full cosplay over and over again to see this movie and see the Wicked movies and sing along to them at full screeching, agonizing volume, despite the fact that they are asked repeatedly to cut that crap out. Well, their money spreads real far, and they don't go once, they don't go twice, they go many, many times.
Well, that leaves us with number 1 at the top of the chart. Zootropolis 2 is there. It's been out 3 weeks, in total 15.5 million.
Yeah, and I can see why. It's the inside out rule. You know, you've got a really great first one. It's done really well around the world. Zootopia 2. I keep calling it Zootopia 2 because that's the international title. Only we get it as Zootropolis for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, it's one of those weird... It's like, why in the UK did we get a movie called Fast and Furious 5 Rio Heist when Fast and Furious is the name of the fourth one, so technically that would be film number 9. But, you know, like one of those weird, this makes no sense kind of examples. I think it was what was it called? The La Femme Nikita remake with Bridget Fonda was famously named Point of No Return when it was made. In the UK, for some reason, it's called The Assassin. Again, I don't know why they changed the titles. Please stop doing it. I don't want to see a movie called Triple X to the next level. I would rather see Triple X State of the Union.
I wonder if it's so people can't compare the amount of money that's been made across the pond to here.
Nope. Because you'll notice if you ever go buy a UK Marvel box set, the 5th or 6th movie in that box set is called Avengers Assemble. Nowhere else on Earth is that movie called Avengers Assemble. It's simply called The Avengers. We had the title changed because we had a TV show, a very popular TV show from the 1960s, called The Avengers. So that's kind of why they do it. It's for cultural reasons anyway. Zootopia 2, anyway, is not a patch on the first one. I wasn't particularly engaged. I thought it didn't work as a sequel. I can see what they're trying for, but frankly, just not anywhere near as good a movie. I think I laughed 2 or 3 times in the 105 minutes it was on. It just didn't have the charm. The writing was nowhere near as sharp. The characters weren't quite as engaging because the story wasn't there for them to sort of, you know, bounce off of. And really, I mean, I'll be honest, I dozed off twice, which I didn't in The Bad Guys too, all I'm saying.
Well, there we have it. The box office top 10 for UK and Ireland covered. We have now got 4 movies to look at. We're going to look at Song Sung Blue and Marty Supreme in just a tick. Stay where you are.
Oh, Hilton, stay. Your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton, stay, a holiday you're saving.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. This season, enjoy spacious, comfortable rooms and friendly service when you book with Hilton instead. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. You're ready to move your business forward, but first, you need to find the right team. Start your search with Indeed-sponsored jobs. It can help you reach qualified candidates fast, ensuring your listing is the first one they see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. See the results for yourself. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen. Let's dive straight into our first movie of the week, our first new movie of the week. And this is a period drama by the name of Marty Supreme. And I don't know any more about it than that, Van.
Yes, now Marty Supreme, which is... Right, you know who the Safdie brothers are? By any chance?
No.
Right, they are a pair of, I think they're New York-based filmmaker brothers, writer-directors, Benny and Josh Safdie. They made a movie called Good Time together with Robert Pattinson, which I thought was garbage. And then they made a film called Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, that again I thought was garbage. Both of these films were critically beloved by anyone wearing a 3-button cardigan. And Uncut Gems in particular became something of a letterbox/hipster fan fave. it's one of those, again, where I'm like, okay, gun to your head, genuinely tell me what you like about the film. It's amazing how many people start to choke at that point. After that, however, they kind of split apart. The two brothers went their separate way. Now, Benny went and made The Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson, which was garbage. And Josh has gone and made this, which is a 1952 set drama that kind of presents as if it's a true story biopic. Like, it kind of presents like it's a true story of a real guy about a ping pong player named Marty Mauser, played by Timothy Chalamet, whose press tour for this genuinely needs to be studied as an exercise in how to make yourself instantly unlikable. It's very fitting for the movie, but Timothy Chalamet's publicist needs to start telling him to shut up. Like, really, and if you need any explanation on that, just go and Google what Chalamet's been saying in interviews for about the last 2 weeks to promote this movie. It won't take you long to get to the source, you know what I mean? So, Marty Mauser, 1952, loves ping pong. He knows it's big in some parts of the world, but of course, in America, it's not taken seriously. It's a child's game. No one really takes it seriously. But he knows if he can make it a thing, if he can get people to see that it's a thing, not only will it become more widely accepted, but also he can get his shot at being the world champion. Because, he's not actually he's a very good player. However, he's hindered by his ego, his arrogance, his narcissism, his simply unending show. God, I sound like I'm talking about myself now, don't I? Really do.
You're not that bad.
I'm going to send this record to my therapist. He'll absolutely cackle himself out of his chair. Right. And of course, he enters into a relationship with a much older movie star played by Gwyneth Paltrow. I really want to know how they talked her into that. As well as trying to protect a young woman who may or may not, I mean, it's not really subtle about it, be raising his illegitimate child. I've got a clip for you. Have a listen. I mean, your opinion of this movie is very much going to be decided in about the next 40 seconds.
I never talked to an actual movie star. I'm something of a performer too.
Are you?
Yeah, you don't believe me?
You
what? You got the Daily Mail in front of you?
This is you?
Yeah, the chosen one. It's a nice picture, right?
I have a purpose. And if you think that's some sort of blessing, it's not. It means I have an obligation to see a very specific thing through. And with that obligation comes sacrifice.
Everything in my life's falling apart, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Do you need any help? I could help you.
I know it's hard to believe, but I'm telling you, this game, it fills stadiums overseas. And it's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
I feel like the premise of this movie could have been good. I feel, listening to the trailer, it's just not done in a very good way.
Do you know what I kept thinking all the way through this, actually? Because you can hear in that clip, right, exactly how arrogant Timothy Chalamet plays this. Like, it's very much a part of the character. You can hear it right in the dialogue, in the spoken word, pure arrogance. But he's good at the sport. And I kept thinking all the way through, do you know what? I can't wait for 3 weeks from now when we get to that Prince Naz movie. Like, finally. And I can see a good version of this story. Because we are, by the way, 3 weeks away from the movie in which Pierce Brosnan trains Prince Nazim Hamid. Like, that's a movie we're coming back to after New Year's, and it's on Screen a Link, so I'll get you a copy of that. We'll have to watch that and enjoy. Brosnan doing Irish. I hated this movie. Oh, God, I hated this movie. By the way, the song in that clip, the Forever Young, I can't tell you who sang that song off the top of my head. I'm sure you know. Do you know who sang that?
I know the song. I can't think of the artist.
That is the opening and closing song of this movie that is set in 1952. So, let kind of tell you right there that this is trying to be anachronistic and cool and hip whilst doing the period piece thing and doing the zippy energy of a Safdie Brothers movie. Incidentally, I can't say it's badly directed. I can also now say that we have a final and definitive answer as to which one of the two Safdie brothers actually did the lion's share of the directing on both Good Time and Uncut Gems, because it damn sure wasn't Benny. I've seen The Smashing Machine. This is very much a Coen Brothers level of the division of workmanship. Chalamet, to be honest with you, I mean, he plays arrogant well, because that's kind of how he comes across. And again, go and read the interviews and things from the last 2 weeks, and he's playing into it. Paltrow, not an engaging screen presence usually, and certainly not bringing any engagement to this. Story, absolutely all over the place. A tonal mishmash that absolutely drags for 2.5 hours. Not kidding. 2.5 hours that build to absolutely bloody nothing, has an entire hour in the middle of it that you could dump and the story would lose nothing. And by the end of it, you come away thinking that was 150 minutes, all of which has been bettered by a 5-minute ping pong sequence in Forrest Gump. Are you kidding me? So no, I'm going to call it crap. I'm going to say it's genuinely one of the most bafflingly overhyped movies, because I saw it in the room. As we came out of that room, I had colleagues of mine oh, that's such a wonderful, isn't it fantastic? I'm like, no, that was boring AF. Chalamet didn't, I don't know where this idea that Timothée Chalamet's a movie star comes from. His only two successful ventures are both based on established IPs, established intellectual properties. I'm talking about Dune and Wonka. Frankly, you could have cast Armie Hammer in those movies and they still would have made the exact same amount of money regardless. And come talk to me when the box office takings for this are out, and we'll see how big Timothée Chalamet's fan base really is. Because I'm telling you something, it does not exist outside Gen Z, and Gen Z sure as hell are not forking down money to sit through 2.5 hours of this crap.
Well, you can react with your feet if you do want to go and see this.
You'll react when you get up and leave. That'll be you reacting with your feet.
Marty Supreme is in cinemas from today. Right, we're going to move on to our next movie. It's called Song Sung Blue. So basically, all I can make from this is, isn't it about a Neil Diamond tribute act?
It is. This is based on a true story of a husband and wife team.
Brilliant.
Who they were named Lightning and Thunder. They weren't Thunder and Lightning because it's an ego thing. Because it's Hugh Jackman is Lightning. He meets a woman played by Kate Hudson, who's also a singer and begrudging. Like, they don't like being cover artists, kind of thing. They want to do their own stuff. And really, he just wants to be able to put some of his personality out there, despite the fact that he is kind of pigeonholed into cover artist land. So they form a husband and wife cover band called Lightning and Thunder that is not a cover band. They are a Neil Diamond interpretation. So you can sort of see what they do. And it is about their lives, not only as they sort of rise to regional success, they weren't like megastars, but like regional success, and they find fans, both famous and among the people, but also just the tragedies that befell them and the great triumphs of their lives leading up to that. And oh my God, there's literally an incident they like that's the moment that someone decided they had to make a biopic out of that, because that doesn't happen to everyone. So have a listen. This is Lightning heaping some praise on Thunder.
Hey, Claire. I can't thank Neil, because every thank you I got belongs to you, doll. You're my August night, you're my September morn, you're my heart light, and you're my crackling Rosie. You got me?
I'll see you on stage.
I mean, Hugh Jackman with long hair just cracks me up, to be quite honest with you. I think he looks brilliant.
Yeah, he's totally got the Van Helsing hair back. He's gone back to his exact look from Van Helsing. And honestly, at one point, he actually wears a coat. You're like, oh my God, he really is doing Van Helsing. He's fantastic in this.
Yeah.
Actually, Hugh Jackman, because he is a song and dance man. Originally, before Wolverine, that's what he was. He was a musical stage performer. And so when you get to those times that he is allowed to go back and do it, you get magic. You get The Greatest Showman. You know what I mean? Like, you get something like The Greatest Showman's a pretty iconic movie now. I mean, obviously not one of the great, not remembered as one of the greatest, but I think a pretty iconic movie. This will go down nowhere near as well as The Greatest Showman, but I do think, first of all, amongst Neil Diamond fans, this is going to be unmissable. Like, all of my Neil Diamond knowledge comes from the movie Evil Woman or Saving Silverman. Sorry, Saving Silverman in every other country, Evil Woman in the UK, just to prove that point from earlier.
Another one.
Yeah, but I think this is really good swaggering fun, and I think it's at its best when it's actually doing the early years and the performance stuff, rather than the drama of the later years. But when it does get to the drama of the later years, actually, the cast more than deliver. They really rise up to it. Jackman can do this stuff. We know that. Kate Hudson as well, who at this stage really is channeling her mother. Like, it's just like going back in time and watching Goldie Hawn in about 1990. Like, because she's at that age that sort of Goldie that her mum was. And I really need the mother-daughter team-up movie. I think there was one years and years ago they did, like 25 years ago. I need a new mother-daughter, Goldie Hawn, Kate Hudson team-up movie.
They should remake Death Becomes Her.
Wow, that would quite work, actually. Goldie Hawn plays the original one, and then she de-ages into Kate Hudson.
Yes!
but you need to find another mother-daughter duo that sort of fill in the same. I'm sure someone could. I'm sure someone could think. Andy McDowell and Margaret Qualley. There it is.
Done.
Margaret Qualley from The Substance and Andy McDowell. Perfect. And they're exactly as bad an actress as each other as well. Anyway, that's beside the point. So, if you like a good music-based kind of biopic, go and see this. If you like Neil Diamond, go and see this. If you just fancy a very sweet, just a really lovely kind of time at the cinema, it's not going to challenge you narratively at all. It's not that kind of movie. But you know what? You kind of know from the remit that it's not going to be. But it will win you over. I went into this, wasn't enthusiastic in the slightest, to be realised. This was my final my final screening of the year. And I wasn't enthusiastic about it. I'd heard about it 3 years ago when they announced it. Don't know Neil Diamond. And I kind of think, actually, that really won me over. And I was in a crap mood because I had just sat through Marty Supreme for 2.5 hours. So, it was anybody's game to lose, really, to win. But this more than rose to the occasion. I found this a really sweet, charming, kind of one I would watch. But it's one you would take, your parents and your grandparents to the cinema over the Christmas period to sit and watch, to be honest.
And they probably both bought some of his albums at some point, I would imagine, as well.
Out of interest, how many Neil Diamond songs can you name? Because I think I had 2.
One, Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline. There are more than you think, actually. It turns out that Neil Diamond, there are people listening to this now screaming at their speaker, like you idiots, what about... Yeah, there's people screaming at speakers at us right now. You'd be shocked, though, that Neil Diamond really is one of those artists who you hear his like discography, like, oh, that was one of his, oh, okay, I know that one. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know that one. Yeah, it's very much one of those.
Yeah, I think he wrote for other artists as well. So there's probably a bigger sort of amount of songs that we don't know. But Song Sung Blue is in cinemas from now. So if you want to go and see it, you can.
Oh, no. Song Blue. Sorry, Song Sung Blue. That is New Year's Day. Because Marty Supreme is Boxing Day.
Oh, yes. Of course it is.
Marty Supreme is Boxing Day this year, which is Friday. It's a Friday the 26th. And New Year's Day is a Thursday. So Thursday, January 1st.
Yeah, and then you can go and see Song Sung Blue for a New Year treat, if you like. Right, we're gonna talk about what's probably not going to be Van's favourite movie of the year next. We'll see what he thought to Avatar: Fire and Ash. Stay there.
And now it's time for a segment we like to call Off-Screen Pays the Bills. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Van. So, what's going on?
Ain't nothing going on but the rent. You know how it is. And so it's a big thanks to our sponsors this week at the VoiceOver Podcast. You ever watched one of those movies that completely changes your life? I mean, I did. It was Terminator 2. I was 9. You ever watched one of those that made you who you are today? I mean, arguably Clerks for me. I think it was about 11. One of those that completely changed how you see the world. I haven't really got one for that. Maybe the first Iron Man. That gave me a sense of smugness. Anyway, the VoiceOver Podcast is kind of all about that. It's a podcast talking about those movies that move us. So each episode is a deep dive with a different guest, talking about the moments in TV and cinema that have impacted them and taught them about life. It's hosted by Heather Bigley, who might know a thing or two. She has a PhD in film studies, and the movies discussed range from classics to recent releases to obscure indie films. And she and her guests talk about everything from behind-the-scenes trivia to cinematography to their personal experiences. So check out the VoiceOver Podcast. Listen and subscribe today. It's VoiceOver, the movies that move us, and you can find it wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen. We are going to look at The Housemaid in just a bit, but right now the next 10 minutes is all about the latest James Cameron movie, Avatar: Fire and Ash. Full disclosure here, I've only ever seen the first Avatar, which I will say, and I know it goes against what you think, I will say I enjoyed it. I thought it was a clever, kind of, it drew me in. It was a real great fantasy movie, and I did like it. But I don't think I will enjoy any after that from the reviews and the trailers I've seen. Which is why I haven't bothered watching any of the other ones.
Actually, it would be fascinating, genuinely fascinating, to get you to watch the second Avatar movie, and now, because obviously it's only 2 years old, to get you to watch it and actually get your take on it, because I think, and I said this to you 2 years ago, because the clip came up this week on social memories.
I know what you're about to say. It's the same as the first one, but underwater.
No. I think, and I said this back then, that because so much time had passed after the first one to the second one, I think people look back on the first one with rose-tinted glasses, and I don't think it's as dazzling as everyone thinks it is. I think if you look at Avatar 1, any of them now, I think it's very hard to distinguish between that and a PS5 game.
Wow.
I feel like I'm looking at a PS5 game, which should tell you somewhat about the tone I'm about to employ. So, Avatar, Fire and Ash, the third in the Avatar series, and it's the third of 5 that are planned, I believe. I think it's intended to be 3 years from now we get number 4, and then the year after that we get number 5. So the first one was, if you remember, was about a paraplegic Marine who was flown out to the end of the galaxy to a planet called Pandora, which Earth's, I think they were military. I think they were the military. Earth's military is effectively trying to harvest minerals from. However, the indigenous people of the planet Pandora, they're known as the Na'vi, and they're like 8-foot tall, skinny blue things with dreadlocks and tails, and they fly like sky dragons. They don't want their land strip mined for resources, somewhat understandably. Said Marine is plugged into the remote controllable body of one of these things, the so-called avatar of the title, because his brother was meant to do it and then got killed. This is an important plot point, by the way, and he's the only person genetically compatible. End of that movie, he was killed and saved inside the alien body. Okay, so he is now one of the people that he was sent to infiltrate. He wound up sort of developing an affinity for and became one of. Movie number 2, Bad Guy's back. Bad Guy's back from the dead because... Well, he got killed at the end of one, but he's back from the dead with his brain having been saved to a flash drive before the third act of the first movie, and now it's downloaded into an avatar body for him as well. All of this despite the fact that the previous movie had to fly a paraplegic across the galaxy because he was the only person genetically compatible to drive his brother's avatar. But apparently, no, they just forgot to save that guy to a flash drive. The rest of them they remembered, but that one guy they didn't.
Yeah,
okay?
That doesn't sound great, does it?
Yeah, it's also established in the second movie that said bad guy had a human child on this planet as well who got left behind for reasons. And he was taken in by Jake Sully and his now family of Na'vi, because apparently when they were developing these Na'vi bodies, they also for some reason thought to include a full reproductive system. But sure, I don't know why anyone would think to put that in. It's not like the power loader in Aliens came with a dong. You know what I mean? It doesn't really work that way. Sure. So second movie, Jake Sully being hunted, goes and seeks refuge with the water people. And at the end of that movie, one of his sons was killed. Okay. Movie number 3. Right, movie number 3. Bad guy's back again. This time he's teaming up with the fire people. Because in the first movie they flew, so that would be the air. Second movie was the water people. Third movie is the fire people. So second movie, look forward to the dirt people. Look forward to the mud people or something like that, because we're going to keep this going. Apparently the fifth one is set on Earth. So this time, bad guy teams up with Una Chaplin, the warlord goddess of the fire people, and sets out for, his revenge on Jake Sully. In reality, he kind of just wants his son back. So there's very much a sort of being tempted between two fathers. Kind of, it's Captain Hook and Robin Williams fighting for, the kid's loyalty again. Kind of an idea, this time with the dude from one of the later Scream sequels. Into this mix, you've also got the Sully family themselves, who are grieving the loss of said son they lost at the end of the first movie, and both have very different ways of going about it. Jake Sully, let us not forget, is a Marine, and kind of has a more practical, revenge-driven way of dealing with grief, whereas Neytiri played again by Zoe Saldana, Sam Worthington being Jake Sully, by the way. Zoe Saldana, she pretty much has her faith, as you can hear in this clip.
Look, I'm a Marine. I'm not taking a knife to a gunfight. Or a prayer. So what am I supposed to do? I can't run. I can't fight. Oh, that's right. Awa will provide. Yeah? So where was Awa? Where was Awa when our son...
Jake! I'm in this place where I have nothing. Not my people, not my forest. Even my father's bow is gone. All I have is my faith that this is the Great Mother's plan.
I mean, I don't know if you're the same as me, and you probably can't be because of your job, but I always feel that when you have sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel with movies like this, it just takes away some of the substance of what it's all about originally for me, and that puts me off of wanting to watch the sequels.
I mean, and bear in mind, this is a story that has a plan. This is something that James Cameron has sat and mapped out. Like, these 5 films are written. Like, 3 obviously exist in the world. 4 and 5 I don't think have actually been filmed. I think some of it has been filmed, but I don't think there are. And there are full scripts for them. Like, there had to be, because of how much time it takes to develop the VFX, etc. This is all mapped out years in advance. It really does feel like a slapdash put together sequel, as you say. And it's kind of weird how that stands in stark contrast to, let's say, everything Marvel up to and including Endgame, which is made up on the fly, but does feel at times like it works very well off the back of a plan. This doesn't quite have that. I will say, this is very much a continuation of Part 2. Part 2, does feel distinct enough from the first one when you have the third one to follow it up with. Because this is kind of the fallout of Part 2. The thing is that the characterization is so much stronger in this third one because the characters have things to be emotional about. It's about grief and loss and purpose and just dealing with it. And that's actually a level of character substance that neither of the previous 2 Avatar movies, which, again, I want to remind you, in one case, literally involved a paraplegic being allowed to walk again, somehow not having the emotion of this.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane. Now, narratively, it's absolute gubbins. I mean, I was bored to tears. I really was bored to tears. And even the wham bam, always gold standard James Cameron action couldn't really shake me from it. I was really bored by the plot of this. Like, no joke, 3.5 hours. I was bored to tears. Also, it really expects you to remember every bit of nuance of the previous ones. I'm like, look, nobody is that big an Avatar fan. Nobody with friends, anyway. Nobody with friends or older than 12, we shall say. And I just came away from it thinking, it's kind of weird for me that I'm coming out of, first of all, a third Avatar movie, let alone an Avatar movie, and the thing that I've enjoyed the most, and really the only thing, is the character stuff, the emotional character drama. Beyond that, I did not care for a single second about what I was seeing, other than to kind of just sit and snigger at all the kind of weird continuity that they keep trying to crowbar in. Like, we can now save brains to flash drives and things like absolute nonsense. I mean, at one point, I should point out, the whole planning of Avatar, as far as I understand it, did not happen until after the first one. And at some point when they were doing this planning, they realised that it made more sense for them if the big MacGuffin that everyone was after on the world of Pandora was whale blubber rather than like a rock mineral. Because in the first movie, they have unobtainium, this rock mineral thing. And in the second movie, they've basically got space Olay. You know what I mean? Like oil of Olay or Olay skin cream, but this one comes from space and is worth strangely the same amount as this mineral. And it comes from Pandora whales, Payakan or whatever he's called, things like that. And they've carried that element on a little bit, but it's that level of like really bad writing at times. Like, they can't plan a plot for toffee. Like, it's not interesting. It's not engaging. You can kind of read some subtext into it about, US involvement in foreign conflicts and things like that, because the whole Stephen Lang element of this, the whole villain's plan of this is, I'll go to the fire people and I'll give them all of our US weapons and we'll team up with them. And you're like, oh, this is so far so Mujahideen, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the 80s, buddy. We were all there. It's written at the end of Rambo 3. Just put it out there. It's literally written on screen at the end of Rambo 3. We did not need this level of subtext. Incidentally, who wrote the Rambo sequels? James Cameron. Funny that. So, yeah, he's really going back to the wellness. Not interesting. Not, engaging at all. Unless in the character scenes. Having said that, if you are the kind of person who, for whatever reason, still genuinely thinks these movies are impressive, and, I know that there are some out there, go and see it, and you'll get more of the same. You really will. If you get to see it in 3D HFR as well, which is where you get the 3D glasses and the frame rate is sped up, that adds to the experience, I suppose. But for me, it's still just a PlayStation game. That is literally what I'm watching. I am watching a 3.5-hour YouTube compilation of a PS5 game's cutscenes, albeit one that's directed by the single greatest director on the planet. All I'm saying.
You can make your own mind up if you want to. Avatar Fire and Ash is in cinemas from now. Okay, we've got one last ride. We're going to look at The Housemaid. And actually, out of all of them this week, this is the one I'm really interested to know more about. It's a psychological thriller, and we're going to see what Van thought next.
The McDonald's snack wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch snack wrap. Spicy snack wrap. You broke the internet. For a snack. Snack wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The Who's Down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. We have one last brand new movie to talk about. This is in cinemas from Boxing Day, and it's the one I'm really looking forward to hearing more about. It's called The Housemaid. It's a psychological thriller, and yeah, take it away, Van. It looks good.
I mean, really, Adam? Really, the Sydney Sweeney one just happens to be the one you're really looking forward to?
Don't know what you're talking about.
You're fooling no one, buddy. Yes, we've all seen the red carpet pics, and yes, fabulous. Just fabulous. You know as well. I can tell from that reaction that you absolutely know the exact red carpet pics I'm talking about. Right, okay, so The Housemaid, which is an adaptation of the best-selling novel of the same name. I forget the name of the author offhand. Is it on the IMDb here? I think it might be Frida McFadden. Annoyingly, we've got the sequel novel in my living room at this moment, because I think it was on offer in Aldi the other day. So there are 3 books to this. This is the part 1, and it's kind of going for the Gone Girl kind of crowd. Like, it's quite clearly Gone Girl on a train kind of crowd. This stars Sydney Sweeney as a young woman who takes a job, from low income, has the veneer of being kind of a gig worker, kind of a cynical person, but with a past and a secret. Takes a job as housemaid for a sort of upper middle class, borderline rich suburban family. The mum is the ultimate kind of trophy wife. She's played by Amanda Seyfried. The husband is Brandon Sklenar from It Ends With Us and Drop was the horror movie from the start of this year. And they have a sort of 8 or 9-year-old daughter as well. No sooner has our housemaid of the title started being, the housemaid, all of a sudden, mum, Amanda Seyfried, starts acting a bit dodge. There's the odd comment here and there that doesn't make sense. There's the putting her in the position to make weird decisions and then asking her to do things and then turning around and telling her off for doing things. Really strange behaviour that even includes manic, violent outbursts of destroying the kitchen and things like that. There's something not quite right with mum. And this is all going on as Sydney Sweeney starts growing a little bit too close to the dad of the house as well. But all the way through this, you can't shake this whole hand that rocks the cradle kind of feeling about it. So I tell you what, have a listen to this clip. See if you can get a measure of the vibe I'm talking about. I want to put this in context for you. This is Amanda. This is Sydney Sweeney, looking gorgeous as always, stood at the kitchen counter making some bacon, with Amanda Seyfried, the mum, sneaking up behind her.
I want you to feel safe here.
I do.
Through your door, as requested.
Thanks.
So how was last night with Andrew?
Good. I made chicken piccata.
He's a dream, isn't he? He pretends to like everything I make him, even if he hates it. That's a lot of bacon, Millie. You trying to kill us?
Doesn't have much pace, does it?
It's very. It draws itself out, but it kind of knows what it is and what it wants to be, and those two happen to be the same thing in this case, which is an event movie psycho thriller.
Yeah,
this is I think directed by I think it's not written by, I don't think, any capacity, but it's directed by Paul Feig, who's the former sort of comedy director who gave us Bridesmaids and the Ghostbusters reboot 2016, but then pivoted and made A Simple Favor with Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. And so there's a sort of weird crossover thing with, the Blake Lively from It Ends With Us, and here is, the husband from, the love interest from It Ends With Us as the husband. I was really on board with this. I liked the look of the trailer, to be honest. I was told by my partner, who'd read just the first book, that, it's very good, you'll never guess the twist kind of thing. I'm like, okay, good, that's what I'm looking forward to. And to be fair, decent twist. Decent, actually, they pull it off. It's not quite as earth-shattering as you would hope. You're like, actually, yeah, that works, actually. I'll go with that. And everybody involved knows exactly the tone to play it. So you get those sequences like the one we just heard, where this is about tension and intimidation. And then it just goes full tilt boogie, full Dallas, throwing all the dishes around, just absolute 80s soap trash nonsense. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought Sydney Sweeney really worked in this because it's, despite her secretive past and everything, she's kind of depicted as our POV character for the most part. She's our point of view character. She's our heroine, and that doesn't really call on her to do much more than be the good girl, so to speak. And even once the whole past is explored, kind of a thing, it really doesn't change that fundamental structure about it. Maybe makes her a bit more hapless and intentionally takes away some agency, but otherwise pretty much works. The thing is that because she's got so much of a more boilerplate role, it allows Amanda Seyfried to absolutely steal this movie. And this is particularly interesting when you remember that about 15 years ago, Amanda Seyfried was Sydney Sweeney. Like, remember Mamma Mia era Amanda Seyfried? She was deified the same way that, Gen Z have deified Sydney Sweeney now. Like, in very much the same way, but she's obviously just, gone away from that in more recent years and made slightly more serious films, and obviously things like this, where she now just gets to come back and do it's an I'm back, bitches, kind of a performance. It's very much that. Like, she is absolutely... The only thing I can compare it to, and this will only work for listeners of a certain age, or actually like all Ryan Murphy fans, is it's a Jessica Lange performance. If you went back to the age, like the physical age that Jessica Lange would have been in about 1990, say, it's very much an unhinged Jessica Lange performance that does owe a debt to, it's like the films that Lange used to do, and also nowadays more trashy Ryan Murphy kind of affair. I think this is really fun. That's the kind of word for it is fun. It's not scary in any way, and it's not really intimidating. You kind of just go along with it. It's like, this is just goofy trash, and I love it, and Seyfried is having so much fun, and I'm enjoying her. And then, of course, when they get to the big twist, I think the movie changes entirely anyway to reflect that twist. And again, you kind of go with the trashy fun of it, even though it's then a lot darker. I was a fan. I actually will watch this again. I'm hoping there's an award screener like for this over the holidays. Otherwise, I genuinely will go back and see this at a public show because I know my partner would really love to see it. I will go and see this at my local Odeon over Christmas if there's no award screener. Having seen how uninteresting Sweeney was in Christie recently, I think this kind of confirms that she really needs to stay kind of in her lane, kind of project-wise. And I think this is more where Sydney Sweeney kind of belongs. Points for trying with Christie, but that movie sucked. This movie rules. So let that speak for itself.
It's definitely one I want to see. I've seen
You'd
the trailer,
love it.
and yeah, it does look great.
Do you like Gone Girl?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
You'll enjoy this. Very much Gone Girl vibes. Like not like as masterful. It's not like a David Fincher movie like Gone Girl was, but you'll enjoy this.
Well, if you want to check out The Housemaid, perfect Boxing Day movie to go and see, really, isn't it? It's out on Boxing Day. Yeah, nicely planned. All right. Well, let's talk about January the 16th, which is when we return. Some of the movies that we'll be looking at then that you can get to see between now and then. So, The Voice of Hind Rajab.
Yes, this is, I believe, on the shortlist for Best International Feature at the Oscars for this next year. I think we're about 3 months off a new set of Oscars. We've also got Rental Family, the new Brendan Fraser movie, in which he's like a washed-up American actor in Tokyo, and he gets hired by a Japanese family and to be like a family member and a stand-in. We've got the aforementioned Giant, the Prince Nazim movie with Pierce Brosnan as the trainer. Another one that's apparently a shoo-in for some Oscar love, like at least in the nominations, Hamnet, which is the story of Shakespeare's son, the son of William Shakespeare, how his son was famously named Hamnet. He died tragically, and that's what inspired the writing of Hamlet, as it was then retitled. That stars Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal. And Buckley in particular is getting a lot of praise for this. So expect to hear a lot about Hamnet after Christmas. And last but certainly by no means least, a little sequel I know you've been looking forward to. By the name of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which that was saw. Quick. But it was only 6 months for this one. I think the third one has only just been announced because Cillian Murphy's back for the third one.
Great.
And I will simply say, may or may not be referenced in the second one. I'm not spoiling anything for you, but there might be a nod, there might be an acknowledgement, a memory, or something. There might be a mention. He exists, all I'm saying.
And of course, I know why it's called the Bone Temple, because that had something to do with the end of the first one.
Yeah, that was Ray Fiennes, where Ray Fiennes lived.
Yeah,
because he was the doctor who was like dragging all the undead, or the infected, as I call it, isn't it? Together, he's taking all the skulls and putting them on the Bone Temple. Yes, a lot more of this movie is set around the Bone Temple. That's all I will say, and a lot more Jack O'Connell dressed as Jimmy Savile.
Oh no, that's how it ended, isn't it? Yeah,
that's how the first one ended. Remember? Yeah.
Oh wow, I literally cannot wait, and I think I'm going to watch that the same way I watched the first one. Well, not the first one, the last one.
Was it 4DX?
In 4DX, yes, It was great. Apart from the the achy back and the whiplash, it was actually quite decent. So some really good ones to look forward to when we return on January the 16th. For now, that is all we have time for this week on Off Screen. We will see you January the 16th.
This podcast is part of the Mercury Network. To find your next favourite show, like mine, 5 Random Questions, visit mercurypodcast.com now.